What's up, guys? I'm LQ. This is the LQ Review. Thank you so much for joining me right here at my YouTube channel. This is where we talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that we love to talk about. Movies, video games, comic books, and TV shows. And right now, I'm going to give you guys my ranking of the 6 Home Alone movies. I've already got my review of Home Sweet Home Alone up. Feel free to check that out. I did watch it about a week and a half ago. And, but like I said in my review, Home Alone, the franchise, has created a very low bar to get over. I feel like it got over it, so let's talk about my rankings. All right, number 6. Number 6 is Home Alone 4, Taking Back the House. This is one of the worst movies ever made. It's literally one of the worst movies ever made. It's supposed to be in continuity with the first 2 movies, but somehow Kevin got younger. The family split up, and I don't know, it was like they wrote a movie that was supposed to be like Home Alone, and then they realized they wanted to convert it into a Home Alone sequel, so they did a lot of stuff last minute to convert it into a Home Alone sequel, and it just didn't feel like Home Alone at all. And it was just a legitimately terrible movie. The one bright spot was French Stewart as Marv, but even he couldn't elevate this movie at all. It was awful. The decisions that they made in this movie to make Kevin's parents split up was just, it's like, I don't know, we care about these characters after 2 movies, and then you do this, and it's like, apparently we care about the characters more than the writers do, because it just was not, it was very poorly executed. It was very poorly executed. So the less we can talk about Taking Back the House, the better. All right, number 5. Number 5 is Home Alone 3. So Home Alone 3 came out at a time when, Home Alone was still a very viable franchise, but Macaulay Culkin was probably a little too old to play the character again. So they created a new character named Alex and put him into a similar situation where he is left home alone for a period of time, and criminals want to get into his house to get something that they think belongs to them. Now, one thing that was really odd for a Home Alone movie is they decided to make this into like a spy movie. All right, these criminals are spies with a lot of high-tech technology, and they're trying to get, if I remember right, they're trying to get some sort of satellite positioning code or something like that. So I don't even know if the movie knows exactly what they were trying to get, but through a twist of fate, it ends up in Alex's hands. They find out, so they have to break into his house to try to get it back. And of course, he is a mad genius when it comes to creating traps. And we get to see 4 burglars, four spies, not burglars, they're spies, because we got to up the ante. We see 4 spies just get annihilated by a psychopathic kid. So yeah, we also had a parent situation where mom and dad had to, mom had a job, and she couldn't, he got sick with chicken pox, and that was the situation that they contrived to keep him home alone. He was sick with the chicken pox. We don't have bad parents this time around who accidentally leave on vacation. No. We've got good parents this time. We got good parents who would never leave their kid home alone unless it was a horrible, horrible, horrible mean boss who makes them come into work even if their kids are sick. So there was a scene where she was like, where she was talking to her boss, I hope you know you're making me decide between my job and my kid, and I don't like it. It felt like they were trying to say, wait a second, all right, our parents in this movie aren't bad parents. It felt like there was some criticism for the first 2 Home Alones, and they're like, whoa, slow your roll. We're not doing bad parents this time. Catherine O'Hara, she was a bad parent. We're not doing that this time. So I didn't care for all that. Home Alone 3, I think most people would probably rank it 3rd in the franchise. I found it to be awful, and I found it to be safe, and I just wasn't a fan of it. So Home Alone 3, bad. All right. From here on up, all these movies are movies that I genuinely, in general, I liked. So number 4 is Home Alone 5, The Holiday Heist. What I liked about this one was they did bring back the holiday atmosphere. You know, they took a break off with 3, they took a break off with 4. Now in 5, we're back to Christmas, which Home Alone should be set at Christmas. And we have another situation where we don't have bad parents. These parents are just leaving their kids. One of them, to be fair, one of the kids is old enough to babysit, but they're going to leave them home alone while they go to a party, a work Christmas party. And during this work Christmas party, there's a horrible blizzard and the roads are closed and they can't get home to their kids. Meanwhile, bumbling thieves, there's a painting in this house that they have to get. And, you know, we have another psychopathic kid in the house who knows how to create psychopathic traps. And it's just, this is a better Home Alone movie. This is a better Home Alone movie. It didn't feel like a Home Alone movie. Like, it doesn't have that same DNA. It doesn't really have the same heart. But at least it had better setup for the traps at the end. And at least it had a more entertaining storyline. Now, some of it was very silly to the point where it was difficult to suspend your disbelief of it. Like, some of this depended on the thieves believing that the house was haunted, which was a little silly. But overall, this movie was more fun than part 3 and part 4. So I have to give this movie, and like I said, part of that just because it has the holiday theme. So I have to give this movie, I have to put it in 4th place, and it's a movie that I liked. It wasn't good. It wasn't a good movie, but I enjoyed it enough. So that's number 4. All right, number 3 is Home Sweet Home Alone. Again, more than any of the sequels, this one had the DNA of the first 2. Like I said in my review, it's not a good movie. I enjoyed it enough for what it is. And that is basically a Home Alone ripoff that's set in the same universe as Home Alone. I enjoyed it for what it is, and I'll probably revisit this one every now and then. It won't, not something I'll watch every year, but I'll revisit it every now and then just because I did like it enough. So if you want to hear more about that, go check out my review on Home Sweet Home Alone. Otherwise, let's move on to 2nd place. 2nd place is Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. And honestly, if you ask me tomorrow, this one could be my favorite. You know, Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2 kind of jump back and forth. I'm a huge fan of both movies. I grew up with them. I saw both them in theaters when I was a kid, and I grew up watching them on VHS. Both these movies mean a lot to me. I think that I prefer Home Alone 1 just slightly more than Home Alone 2 because the concept felt a little more believable, and it felt the stakes felt a little bit higher. And the suspension of disbelief wasn't quite as high either. You know, the idea of the wet bandits being in New York the same time as Kevin, bumping into each other in New York. You know, you can spend a month in New York and not run into somebody that you know. You know what I mean? So there was a high level of suspension of disbelief that needed to happen for Home Alone 2. But it still had heart. Still very much a Christmas movie. The traps were very inventive and very creative and a lot of fun. I liked Home Alone 2 a lot. Wasn't quite as good as the first one, but very good movie. But then we go to number 1. My favorite Home Alone movie is the first one. I saw it in theaters when I was 10 years old and fell in love with it. And here we are. You know, I watch it multiple times a year. It's a feel good movie for me. It's a comfort movie. You know, whenever I feel like I just need to watch something to just kind of decompress and just kind of have some lightheartedness in my life. Home Alone is one of my go-tos. You know, it's one of my go-tos where I'm like, I just need to relax, watch something I can enjoy, something I'm familiar with, something that feels good. Home Alone's on that list. It's one of my go-tos. Great Christmas movie, very funny, and just a lot of great stuff in that movie. So, that is my favorite in the Home Alone franchise. So how would you rank the Home Alone movies? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your take on it. While you're down there, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And as always, thank you so much for joining me right here at the LQ Review. where we get to talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff we love to talk about. Until next time, we'll see you later. Hey guys, it's LQ with the LQ Review. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me.